What is up, guys? This is Cody with F is for Fanatics, and we are back. Um, I do want to forewarn you real fast. I am trying to get this done before I got to go to work. Uh, my oldest daughter is on her way home from school, and the dogs will go haywire, and I will mute, and then we will continue on. So, besides that, I'm feeling real good. Okay, guys. Um, a lot of people have given, or some people have given, Mr. Austin Armstrong and Billy Napier some flack, kind of saying that his defense wasn't all that great. Well, I'm going to tell you, stats don't really tell you everything that happens on the field. Okay, number one. So I'm just going to go through the first two games here that I watched. Now, I'm going to let you know this. Number one, my computer chair hasn't came in. So I've literally been sitting on a wooden freaking seat for hours. The first game was 4 hours long. It was a quad overtime against Liberty, a good game. But the camera work is not good. Okay. They got the JV uh, college guys fresh out of high school. Whoever ran, I think ESPN was running that, like ESPNU Junior or something was running that. I mean, I stared at a guy eating popcorn for like 30 seconds. It just wasn't great. It's definitely not SEC football. So take that into account. Me trying to sit here and watch 4 hours of football of not great camera work. Okay. Um, so in the Liberty game, there's some things we need to talk about. Okay. Um, so two of the scores of the Liberty game, they were on short yardage. So I took into account anything on the 40 or closer was considered a short yardage score. So if the offense only had to drive 40 yards because of a fumble or a pick, then um, they essentially got a short yardage score on that. They had two of those, so that's 14 points right there. Now I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to drop this right here. Now, think about how crazy this is on the Liberty game. Their quarterback gets absolutely depleted. Has to get pulled from the game. He gets depleted, pulled from the game. It was a targeting call against Liberty, and then they had a second stringer. He came in, threw a pick right away. That was one of the short yardage fields. So they say, screw that. We're going to run the superback offense, which the superback is the Wildcat. They ran the Wildcat the rest of the time with two guys, Gore and another guy. And boy, I tell you, you talk about handicapping an offense, running the superback or the Wildcat. Imagine running the Wildcat every single play. They know you're coming. They know what you're doing. They weren't throwing the ball, I can tell you that. So take that into account, okay? But the defense, it looked pretty good. It's super aggressive, which I like, and you don't know where the pressure is coming from. And I'm going to tell you something. As I watched more and more of Southern Miss, it's not all blitzing that they're getting pressures with, okay, guys? They are getting pressures up the middle with their two nose tackles. They're big boys. They had a kid there, a transfer from Old Miss, Bevels or Bettis or something. The guy's gonna do some good things here because he was getting pressure. So I had 11 pressures of that's what I jotted down. And I tell you, man, all those were not off blitzes. I would say only half of the pressures. So, 5 of the pressures or so were off of a blitz. And what I like about his blitzing is you never know where it's coming from because he does what the NFL is doing now, and they all kind of creep up to the defensive line, the linebackers do, and then they back off into coverage. I love that. I mean, you don't know if it's going to be, the left linebacker, the right linebacker, the middle linebacker, or like the nickel coming off the corner. It's really aggressive. I like it. Now, I will tell you, the defense is not perfect. Okay. I'd like to see now in game 2 they were a little bit better, but they did get torched a little bit on the run game. Okay. I would say, and most of it is just bad luck. It was a run blitz called to the wrong side, and you're going to have that. But when you have such aggressive running backs, or you have such aggressive linebackers, it's going to happen a little bit. And this is week 1. The tackling wasn't horrendous, but it wasn't all-star by no means. Another thing I will tell you, they had a pick 6. I like that. They had 3 interceptions. So, and their corners play belt buckle to belt buckle. That's something that Florida needs to get back to, okay? Because what we've been doing with guys 10, 15 yards off the ball, that's done. That's done here with Armstrong. I can tell you that. If there's one thing that's going to happen, we're going to freaking blitz, and we're going to it'll be belt buckle to belt buckle. He doesn't play zone ever. It's very rare. And he's going to tell the corners, look, you need to protect. I'm sending the house. You just need to hold up for 4 or 5 seconds, okay? And so I like that. Here comes the bus. Sorry, guys. All right, sorry guys, we're back. I told you it was going to happen. I only saw one blown play where it did not lead to a touchdown either. And what happened was they called a corner blitz, and the running back hit a wheel route out of the backfield. It's going to happen. So there was 5 sacks that game. So the pressures, so you got 11 pressures and you got 5 sacks. That's a pretty good ratio. Okay. That's half. That's half your pressures. You're getting sacks. I like that. Third down defense was pretty good. Running quarterbacks, they did so. So they got torched a couple times, and you're going to see the same thing when I talk about this next game. They got torched a couple times, and then all of a sudden it was like, nope, we're not doing that no more. They sent the quarterback spy, and they wrapped that up. So essentially, out of 4 hours of and that's a long game, okay, guys. That's they went to 4 overtimes against Liberty, and no quarterback running with Frank Gore Jr. running out of the Wildcat, and they had another guy. They threw the ball like 3 or 4 times only. So, it's one of those things where, boy, you are really leaning on the defense. And I tell you, the defense was not bad for as long as they were on the field, especially with 2 short yardage scores. They had 3 INTs. They had a fumble recovery, but it was taken back, unfortunately, and then a pick 6. So the aggressive is there. Now we're going to go to the Miami game, and this is something that's pretty crazy to me. Miami's talent level. Okay, Southern Miss gets nobody. Okay, you had Jackson State out there recruiting. You had Ole Miss out there recruiting. Mississippi State, LSU's down the road. Tulane, Auburn and Alabama is not too far from them. So you have all these schools poaching. They are going in and trying to get kids out of community colleges, guys that maybe had a problem or didn't fit in well at bigger schools in Mississippi, in Louisiana. I mean, they are really up against it when it comes to recruiting. Hattiesburg has nothing. Okay, the biggest thing in Hattiesburg is Brett Favre's mansion. We all know that. So You know, that's just a tie up of what this is. And Miami did not blow the doors off of them, okay? Like they should have. But we all know Miami's a complete dumpster fire, wasteland fire. The Miami depressions, tropical depressions here. First note I have is sure tackling. Okay, again, their corners, they'll come up and they will get nasty with it, and they will stick their nose in and they will blast a running back, and I love that. That's what we need back at Florida. We need some freaking physicality. Number two, hold on. Number two, again, belt buckle to belt buckle on the cornerbacks, and that's just something that just excites me to see that we're getting back to that. Let's see. So they had a fumble recovery, an INT, 4 pass deflections. They did have 3 blown plays, but you're going against a team that is superior in talent. And one of those was a running back. It was a toss to the running back, and then the running back threw it. So kind of a trick play. They had 2 flags on the defense. They had 1 short yardage score, and that's what I like about me actually handwriting these stats. So 7 points of the 30 that Miami had, because they shut them down. The defense buckled up and shut them down. The offense just couldn't do anything for Southern Miss. They had a true freshman starting because the game before their quarterback got absolutely decleated. Tackles for a loss. I tell you, they had 8 tackles for a loss against the running backs and or wide receivers. They had 4 sacks and they had 12 pressures. So not 50%, but pretty dang good, especially against a talented team that should have blew the doors off of them. I mean, Miami should have hung 50 on them, but the nasty bunch said, nope, that is not happening. They swarmed to the ball. Every time that there was a catch, it was underneath the sticks. They couldn't. That's another thing I'm going to tell you. His defense, if they throw a ball 2 yards from the first down, that's it. That's all they're getting. Their tackling is good. There's usually 2 or 3 guys there to stand up for the sticks. They had a bunch of stops. They had 5 stops against Miami. 5 stops. That is incredible against a team that should have blown the doors off of them. That's 5 turnover on downs. That's forced punts that they had. Plus they had an INT and a fumble recovery. They're better week 2. In my notes, I got better keeping up with the running backs. So they tackled the running backs better. There was less blown plays. Swarm to the ball. Let's see. Run D. The run D, they got burnt on 2 plays on the run D. D front, they stood at home. They got hit with 3 trick plays. They stood at home on 2 of them, except for the running back toss. And so I like that. They weren't overly aggressive. One of them was a reverse. They stayed home at that. Defensive pressure came off the interior again. I tell you, if he can coach up, get the D line to do what they did over there at Southern Mississippi, we're in for a darn good defense. And this is why I like me personally taking the stats, because Will Miles put out something. I'm not knocking him, but those stats that he was saying doesn't take into account that week 1 they were running out of the freaking super back or wildcat, whatever you want to call it, wildcat position for 4 quarters because they went into quad overtime. So, and then week 2 they had a true freshman starting that hadn't started a college game against a supposedly a superior team in Miami. Flip over my notes, and we're going to get to the Tulane game. And boy, was this a good one. Rival game. And I tell you, they showed up. Be on the lookout. Tulane's got an NFL back. Tajay Spears, real deal. I hope my Minnesota Vikings pick him up. This kid does it all. He's got blazing speed, catches out of the backfield, true scat back. But you know what? He'll do the dirty work inside the tackles. So Tulane, what I have for them, they had a pick six again. So we are seeing lots of interceptions, lots of fumble recoveries, and you get that because I'm going to tell you, they had 15 pressures. So they had 15 pressures and 5 sacks. And that tells you it's not all about getting sacks. When you're forcing the quarterback to make errant throws, and that's when he throws pick sixes. And they were every pick six was due to the pressure. 15 pressures. That is incredible. I don't know if Florida had 15 pressures all year. All year. So we had 15 pressures. We had 5 sacks. Turnover on downs. They had 5. So they forced Tulane to 5 turnover on downs. Here's kind of somewhat of my notes. Run D. In the beginning, it could have been better, but towards the end, in the fourth quarter, wow, they shut down Tulane in the fourth quarter. And Tulane's kind of a bully in that area down there at that competition level. They're a pretty dang good program. So better stopping the QB run. They had 3 tackle for losses or nils for the QB run. They had 1 blown play. They had a punt block, which is awesome. And then they had a block kick. So Billy Napier, whoever that special team or game changer coordinator is, yeah, go ahead, get that guy. Okay. We need him too. So, and I don't want to hear nothing about, Billy's going to the Sun Belt to get coaches. Listen, they had this is their second block punt for the year, and they had a block kick in 1 game. That's incredible. That's more than what we did last year. I don't know if we had one. So, shut down drives in the red zone, which I like. They forced the field goals. That's what you want. And the D came on late. I mean, I tell you, even with that running back of Tajay Spear at Tulane, which is going to be an NFL back, and he's going to be a good one. You can write the receipt on that. The fourth quarter defense, I just have fourth quarter D. Wow. And that just tells you how good they were in the fourth quarter. So don't get all doom and gloom because of the stats, guys. Don't do it. Because the stats don't tell you that they were playing with a true freshman quarterback that hadn't had a snap yet. And the game before that, they were running Gore Jr. out of the Wildcat the entire game. And that's kind of what I wanted to get down to. So I hope you guys appreciate it. I got another game I'm going to watch, and then we're going to do part 2 for a full finale wrap-up overview of Mr. Armstrong. I'm excited. I'm jacked. Don't let the other podcasters get you down about it. Listen, it's going to be better, okay? He's way more aggressive than Patrick Toney. I like the scheme better than Patrick Toney. It's pretty close to kind of what he runs, but it's just a little bit different. His linebackers, very, very, very good. Corners, very, very, very good. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. This is Cody with F is for Fanatic, and we are out.